Hello and welcome back to Tophil's house. Well, it's good to have you back. In today's episode, we are in Jems Boutique, a boutique where the mother and daughter duo have been pushing the boundaries for fashion since 2008, and it's just an honor to speak to one of them. So today we have Julia on the show. May you welcome Julia?
You too. Good to have you guys here.
Good to be here.
Yeah. Crossing this side.
Welcome to Tophil's house. For those who don't know you or are not familiar with what it is you and your mother have been doing for years, could you give them a little sneak peek?
Sure. So this is Jems Boutique, and this boutique was actually opened by my mom in 2008. And it's kind of an extension. My parents have been entrepreneurs. I'm second generation. My parents started in business in 1970. Oh, wow. The first business they started was Anne of Green Gables. We're related to the author, Lucy Montgomery. So that book and that culture as part of tourism has been a big deal on PEI for a long time. And then my mom opened this boutique in 2008. I moved home in 2010 back to Prince Edward Island and basically took over. Oh wow. Yeah.
That's a wonderful story. Wow.
Yeah.
So your parents are really the foundation of PEI, I'm assuming.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, like they've been involved in tourism for over 50 years now. And I grew up in that industry. So I mean, when you're a kid, you don't maybe recognize the things that you're learning, whenever you're a kid, it's like annoying. Like you have to go to your parents' work. The summertime, they were always super busy. We had a great childhood. We grew up on that property on the North Shore of Prince Edward Island, where the Anne of Green Gables Museum is. Oh, wow. And then as you get older and I started traveling, you realize how much the story means to a lot of people. You realize how special Prince Edward Island is really, and how many people come travel here for a holiday, for a break, and how important tourism is to our ecosystems here. Fair.
Wow, I did not know that.
You know what? A lot of people don't. I'm a lot more. You see me a lot more on social media out of Jems, and I really enjoy. This would be like my favorite part of the work that I do. I love style. I love fashion. I love creatives and creating and collaborating, but the other part of my work is on the Anne of Green Gables side with tourism, and we have a wholesale business. But this is definitely the most fun part of my job.
Oh wow! I was even about to ask, what does fashion mean to you, like in the grand scheme of things? It seems you were born into fashion. You're growing in fashion, so just give us a.
Gosh, that's such a good question. I think for me, fashion and style is like, the freedom of having full expression of who you are. And I think, fashion is, it's comprised of so many different things. Fashion is, how you wake up and get dressed every day. And then style for me is like putting intention into that. Anything can be fashion. Like we all, you go through the decades and see how different styles and different trends were prominent, and then they go away and then they come back. So I feel like fashion is everywhere, but for me it's really style that can make a big impact and can make a big difference. And people not only being confident to showcase their own style, but also being confident enough to respect how other people do that too.
Oh, wow, that's a brilliant answer. Brilliant answer. Circling back to style, I was doing a little bit of research on Jems Boutique, and I said it kind of has this umbrella of making sure that people are comfortable with what it is you guys produce. So what would you say, as the industry of fashion changes, how have you guys been able to maintain your core message of Jems Boutique itself?
That's a really good question. And it's really challenging. And it's challenging because we live on a really small island. Fair. So I feel that while in a bigger city, we would have a lot more competition in the sense of there'd be a lot more stores, a lot more options for people. I feel like here on PEI, you really need to try to cater to a lot of different demographics, styles, but you only have so much square footage, and what my personal style is may not be, from a business perspective, what's going to sell the best or the most. You also look at, you know, different genres and the way that people style themselves. We have a really small downtown core. And I would say, like, I was most inspired when I moved back home. And since I've moved back home, kind of these last 10 years, like, there's so much amazing style and diverse style that a lot of people from Prince Edward Island haven't been exposed to before. So for me, it's trying to push those boundaries of what style and fashion has typically looked like here, while also maintaining the business perspective that we still need people to come through the doors.
True. That's a very good answer.
Yeah. So that's like kind of what I'm always trying to think about and work with. It's like, you know, I might go to a buying show and I go into someone's booth and I'm just like, you know, I personally am obsessed with everything in there, but then I have to like put my business hat back on and be like, you know, you love this and you would wear this, and maybe a couple other people that you've seen would wear this, but is, you know, not to sound, but like is PEI
going to wear it?
Ready for this?
Fair. That's
yeah.
I find that's a very, very difficult.
It is interesting. And then also like with age demographics too, you know, when my mom opened this store in 2008, she would have been in her 50s.
Fair.
So she obviously catered the store naturally to her own like her core demographic with age. And then as she started to phase out and I started to phase in, we've kind of gone through this transition of, you know, not always, but a lot of times what a 50 or 60-year-old wants to wear may not be the same as what a 20 or 30-year-old might want to wear.
Fair enough.
So trying to find styles that do cross over and work with a variety of demographics. And I'd be lying if I said that I found it easy.
Easy. Fair. That is, I think one thing that has also become synonymous with the boutique itself is PEI Fashion Weekend, because you cannot know PEI Fashion Weekend without not knowing Jems Boutique, because like it's the bread and butter of this wonderful event that we've gotten a chance to be a part of for a couple years now. So walk us through that process, getting people involved, investors involved, like walk us through your first show, because something like that in a place like this does take a lot of time and effort to get through. So
thank you for saying that. It does. It did. It did, and it does. I will say we had our 4th show last year, and I would say it was, you know, as we grow, there continues to be new things that we have to focus on that take up time. But from an organizational perspective and from a marketing perspective, last year was the best year of like, I felt the groundwork that we have put into the show the 3 years previous. And the first year we started the show, it was still kind of COVID times. There was like, there was still restrictions on sizes of crowds, but we were allowed to gather. And my coworker, Bianca, I don't know if you guys know Bianca, her and I were here, and I had the idea, and we were kind of like, let's see if we can make this happen. And I will be honest, the first year was like, the first year I said, I'm never going to do this again. The second year I said, I'm never going to do this again.
Fair enough.
The third year I said, I might do this again. And last year I was like, okay, I think I would like to continue to do this. So yeah, like to your point, like it's like anything new that you start, when people don't know about it. And we were lucky in the sense that Jems had already been open for, you know, 11 or 12 years. So people knew about Jems. So when we could attach that name to this kind of new concept, but it's taken people a long time to appreciate what the show is. And it still takes a while, like, to convince people to do something new. So we were really lucky to have support from like the downtown associations, like Discover Charlottetown, Downtown Charlottetown, and the city of Prince Edward Island were really great at saying, you know, we don't know exactly what this looks like, but we're willing to give this a shot, because no one else was really helping, or like no one else had really taken that many different people within the fashion sector together and tried to make an event out of it and try to expose people to all the amazing style and art that was happening on Prince Edward Island that really didn't have anywhere else maybe to have that type of exposure.
Fair. That's a very good answer.
Thanks.
A very good answer. I think circling off that one, since we already you've told us about the Fashion Week and people pushing the boundaries. What made you realize, okay, this is something that I wanted to do. This is something I feel could actually go far?
That's a good question. I think my own personal like investment and passion in style, in the diversity of style, in really wanting people to see how universal style is and how, like many types of art, can really bring a lot of different types of people together. I feel like art is an amazing, space to be able to do that and advocate for that. And when we did the first show, there was like such an energy and such a high in that space. And afterward, people were like, wow, like I felt like I was somewhere else. Oh, wow. And I've been really lucky to have, before I moved back home, I traveled to a lot of different places for like a full decade. And I feel that that's what I wanted people to experience, was something outside of what they had ever kind of seen or felt before within the fashion and style space. So I think that's kind of what led me. And then to get the feedback after that first show, and to have people come up and say, like, that was such an inspiring event and such an inspiring evening, and I had no idea that we had these people who designed these things, and I had no idea that we had students here, like Jerry from Phoenix, like doing engineering and also like designing on the side. Yeah. So it was really cool to see people recognize just how hard a lot of these artists were like hustling also. It was like, this is nobody's full-time gig, and in any art form, art is subjective, of course, but like in any art form, to make art your full-time gig, whether a musician or an artist or a designer, is like, it's a really tough and long game. True. So I think it was really neat for people to see the art side of it, and then also the business side of it, and how hard these designers had to work to even be able to show up on the runway.
Oh, wow, that's a beautiful answer. I'll say, circling back to, because we have spoken about the people and the community in general, I'd say, what made you want to branch out to the locals for the modeling gig? Because I feel like that also encapsulates not only the people who are coming in, but the people who are on the show, they are local people. So what was that thought process like? Okay, let me get these people that are part of this community, albeit maybe foreign, to work on the show and work in different garments.
Yeah, well, when I moved back home again, it was like 2012, and I'd been away for a decade. Like, I was so pleasantly surprised at like what I saw downtown. I was like, oh my gosh, like, these people, these kids, these, like, they are really upping the style game. Sure. And before I moved back home, we have such an amazing, diverse community of new Canadians, students who are coming to Prince Edward Island, and with that brought such a diverse range of style. Sure. And so when I first thought of the concept of the show, I was like, well, these are the people that I have to reach out to. And I was really lucky too, in the sense of Bianca, who was working here, was part of the BIPOC community. Oh. So she was really influential in helping me gap that bridge between allowing BIPOC folks to recognize that we were a safe place and that we were really trying to encourage other folks to see what our version of what style and fashion look like on PEI. And for me, that's been the most gratifying part. And so yeah, I mean, and I the first year we were like literally like writing people be like, will you please come model? Drew, I don't even know how we ended up getting Drew to model too. And Drew's a vet. But and then now, like this past year, and then we ended up having like a modeling form, kind of the second year, because we were like, okay, we have to be a bit more official about this. And like last year we have 30 modeling kind of spots that for the show so far, but we had over 200 people apply.
Oh, wow.
Which is so cool. Like, and the thing that we really want to advocate for in PEI Fashion Weekend is like, it literally is for anyone and everyone. So we really want to help create the narrative that like, no matter where you're from or what size you are, how tall you are, like, you know, we're not New York City. We don't need to run a fashion show. While I mean, fashion shows in New York City are amazing, or like, you know, you go to Paris Fashion Week, you know, that's all amazing. But like, we are an island of 170,000 people. I really wanted to help advocate that fashion really can be for anyone. And in order to do that, you have to have people walking on the runway that look like the people in the crowd.
True.
So and then knowing too that having really truly wanting the business model to look like that, we knew we had to have, and I mean, I always wanted to have a diverse range of models, but we knew we had to have a diverse range of models so that, you know, Drew's in PEI Fashion Weekend, people are like, you know, yo, is this a cool event? He's like, yeah, I'm modeling. They're like, okay, like let's go see our friend. And you have people maybe that don't see themselves as much in style and fashion spaces on PEI, and then they're able to let their community know this is something that we're doing. This is something that we think is a cool idea.
Wow, that's a splendid idea. I must say, before we even go on, I wanted to say that you guys have done a fantastic job so far, doing it year in and year out, bringing so many diverse producers, models. I just think you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Thanks.
I haven't had the opportunity to go. Andrew, give me a ticket.
He wouldn't. Cut that.
Yes, I just think you guys are doing a fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to next year's Fashion Weekend. And what are your hopes for next year Fashion Weekend, given how much you've done so far?
For sure. My hopes would be to continue to push the boundaries of the range of our models. My goal is, and this has kind of started to happen, we have designers from New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. Last year, our headline designer, Leslie Hampton, is, well, she's from Newfoundland, but she's living in Toronto. You know, we were able to bring like a nationally acclaimed designer here who was also Indigenous, who has dressed folks for the Oscar red carpets, who's, you know, been mentioned in Vogue. So my whole, that we were able to have her come last year to keep pushing that. Because people don't know what they don't know.
True.
And so I mean, last year we were so fortunate, like the year before, we've pushed our audience every year too. And the more and more people that find out, the more and more people, of course, spread the word. But my goal for next year would be to keep bridging that, the community that we've created with more and more people in exposing what style really means. And I think when people, it's a lot easier to think about it and talk about it when you can see it.
True.
So that's my hope for 2026. Fingers crossed it happens.
And I'm excited.
Yeah. You're definitely gonna have to come.
Yeah, at this point.
Yes, 100%. And maybe you can model and Drew can give you some tips.
I'm looking forward to it.
You know, something funny he always says is like, whenever someone, like, let me say, pulls up an event or something, the funny thing he always says is, don't look for me.
Oh yeah.
That's your line.
Because I'm lying. I'm like, don't look for me because I will be there. Yeah, that brings us to the end of the interview. It was What else would you like to talk about? This is
Gosh.
this camera, that camera, that camera. It's all yours.
Shop local, yo.
You heard it right here. Which camera is
Shop local. Which one? This one. This one. I'll look right at both of them.
No, look at this one.
This one. Yeah. Shop and support local. Hi, Cla. I think that's a big one. And keep, I think the other thing I would say is be open to what you're seeing when you walk around Charlottetown. Be open to cultural style. It's such a cool thing, and it's really what's making Charlottetown and Prince Edward Island more unique and, in my opinion, better and better.
Right on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
You gave splendid answers. Oh my
Thanks.
God.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. Good, thanks.
You were fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job. And what I noticed is that you didn't have a lot of ahs, ums, likes, and that takes skill to learn how to do that.
Thank you.
To be able to, it's almost like you're thinking about what you're saying at the same time you're speaking and trying to articulate your thought. Like if this is something that you're doing off the cuff, it takes practice to sound pro.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Yeah. Great job.
I try my best. You see? Oh my God.